Red Skull from the MCU is still one of its most iconic villains, but what did he really do to be considered a bad guy? We're going to go over his actions and dig deeper because, believe it or not, underneath the skin, we all have a Red Skull.
That's right, and some more red than others. This man, Johann Schmidt, which I think it'd be nice to kind of get a little familiar with our client as we usually do. I think Johann is a good first name, but maybe something a little more playful. How about Jan or Yanni? Yanni. I like Yanni.
Jan boy.
Yeah, Jan boy. Jan boy. I like that. We're going to go with it. Let's try to remember what this man's premise is. Let's not forget his own words. It seems like he's doing a lot of these violent actions for selfish means, but he states his thesis very clearly. He sees the future, and that future is a world without flags, therefore without borders, therefore without persecution potentially, therefore without suffering, maybe neighborly behavior, helping each other out. This is essentially a libertarian dream.
Yeah, I mean, how far off is this guy from John Lennon? Imagine all the people living for Red Skull.
Sing it.
He sees a world in peace and harmony. Now, is it underneath his rule? Yeah, maybe. Is that the easiest way to get human advancement, is if we're all on the same page? Imagine if everyone in society was just on the same page, working to the same goal overall instead of constant wars. This is the future Red Skull sees for the world, and everyone is going, no, I am only thinking about insert whatever country you're fighting for. It's like, dude, you don't understand the big picture here. He has a galaxy brain right now, and everyone else is just thinking, like, trying to put the square peg in the circle hole, going like, but I like my country more. It's like, dude.
Yes, dude. I mean, I'm a nationalist too. I am right now, but that's because I'm not in the situation that he is in, okay? He sees it. He's enlightened. He has the serum, okay? His brain is working on a higher level than the rest of us. And we are, by the way, assuming a lot here, okay? He might have to put on this kind of hard in the paint face where it's like, seemingly, I'm going to be controlling the whole world, right? I'm going to be the global chokehold after I usher in this basically new age. But there's nothing that actually says that. He doesn't say that. He does not say that I am going to rule the world once it is a world without borders, without flags. That is never said anywhere. And I tell you something right now, there's a common global interest that is preventing countries from working with each other, okay? And it's going to take a very, very hard fist to break that up. And that is our boy. That's Yanni. That's Jan boy. That's what he wants to do. So yes, he does need to seek out some very powerful objects. He needs to make some very dangerous technology. But if the ends justify the means, I don't really see what the problem is. Not to mention, the specific crimes that he allegedly committed to get there are not that egregious. Let's start going into those.
Yeah, listen, he needs the Tesseract lube to fist the world properly. Otherwise,
correct.
It's going to be very painful for everybody right now. So that's the reason why he's doing so many technological advancements. And overall, he's trying to push human advancements. He sees us as like such a small scale of the true potential, because we get the serum that he gets. He's working on with Dr. Abraham Erskine, whatever way you want to say it. Let's call him Dr. Abe for short here.
Yeah,
he's working on this serum with Dr. Abe about unlocking potential, or the human potential here. And as much as he's working on this thing, I really do feel like people are getting in Yanni's, aka Red Skull's, way here, because are you really trying to tell me, with all these technological advancements, all these genetic enhancements, these things have a moral check on you? What big piece of horseshit is that? There's two things they're trying to say here. He's trying to push himself into the potential human advancement, and he's going to use it on himself, which, I mean, that is a great way of doing it. Like, hey, I forgot who did this with the vaccine, whatever one. He's like, hey, listen, I'm going to be the first one to take it. I trust it that much. I mean, that is putting your life on the line for whatever you want to say. Right. I mean, good for you. Whether it's correct or not, that's another thing, but at least you're speaking what you believe is true. That's what Yanni's doing. Now, I don't think Dr. Abe really wanted Yanni to get advanced all that much. He sees the actual potential this guy has. He sees his aura, his riz, and be like, dude, if he gets too powerful, like, we're done. Like, this guy's just going to rule everything. So I do believe, this kind of just quick little side note, I do believe Dr. Abe sabotaged him, because I do not believe that there is a genetic chemical that can do a moral check on you arbitrarily and go like, you're evil, so I'm going to like make your face all melt off and you have a red skull. And then Captain America, you're just going to be a perfect human specimen when we inject you with it. It's like, what the heck? Are you supposed to buy that bullshit from Dr. Abe here, Gator? Are you buying that?
No,
this
I'm
guy
not buying that.
sabotaged our
No,
client.
the reality is, AB the baby is a liar, and let's not forget he is German. Okay, this man is German, and he's a very, very intelligent German. Okay, he was in line with Hydra, with Yanni, with Johann Schmidt, who has dropped several hints that he's not exactly fully on board with the Nazi German cause. Okay, he's not fully on board with it. He plans to ascend beyond it one day, and as we know from the World Without Flags comment, he plans on that empire no longer existing at a certain point. What do you think, Dr. Abe the baby, a German Nazi patriot? Imagine the lengths he's willing to go to get this Johann Schmidt out of power. Of course he's going to sabotage this thing. And then he's going to go to America, pretend to be this turncoat, right? Because he sees the United States as potentially a like fascist successor to Nazi Germany, right? And it's like, okay, maybe these guys can help us get back on track. All we need is a useful idiot that we could turn into a macho man, right? Who's never had any attention from like girls or men in his life, who's going to suckle and appreciate every last little drop and morsel of respect that he'll get from my enhancement. And he found him, dude. He found Steve Rogers. I mean, look what Steve Rogers was willing to do once he got that. He was like a thespian for a while, like sitting in the theater smiling at his own attention. Like, he would do anything for attention. Let's be honest, Your Honor. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Steve Rogers is not the hero we want him to be. He's an idiot. Dr. Erskine is a traitor to Germany. And Johann Schmidt saw a better tomorrow.
It's funny because Dr. Abe, he has his potential, his choices of who he wants to pick. And who's he pick? The most Aryan-looking boy out of the bunch to be his super soldier?
Suspicious, Your Honor.
Listen, Dr. Abe is the vanguard for Operation Paperclip. We all know it. At least Red Skull was willing to stay there and, at least, hey, I signed up for this. I'm going to follow through at least until I find this organization. Because, he's definitely aligned with Nazi Germany at this point, but he's willing to spit in their face and go, listen, I'm turning against you, and I'm going right in your face, and I'm still staying here versus Dr. Abe, who runs to America and does it. Whether you like it or not, Red Skull is aligned with Germany at this point, but he's not an ideologue for them. He's just using them as a means to an end here. He sees his big, brighter future, and if anything, this is probably the best place for human advancements at this point, and all of the nuclear scientists that eventually end up building, or at least helping build, the nuclear bomb, have influences or are directly from Germany. So all of, human advancements at this point in time are from Germany. So if Yanni actually wants to fulfill his plan, he's in the right place at the right time. Unfortunately, Abe finds a perfect Aryan boy over there to do his bidding back over in Germany.
Yeah, like it or hate it, he had common cause with the Nazis, and specifically in reference to this alleged world domination that he wants to install was a common interest in Norse mythology. And I'm not so sure if he was really interested in it as much as he was aware there were artifacts that existed. He might have been disgusted by this, right? He might be the most pious Christian of all time, which actually might explain some of his actions when he goes to retrieve the Tesseract. He shows up to this church to retrieve the Tesseract, which we know is the Space Stone. He knows the legends. He knows it has great power, potentially, which is going to help him on his quest quite a bit. And he goes to a Christian church, but for some reason, it is littered with pagan symbols and is actually containing a pagan artifact. I don't understand. Why would any normal person, and by the way, Nazis included, a Nazi, generally speaking, especially in the earlier years, is not going to go up to a random clergy member and kill them just to loot their stuff. That's not going to happen, right? They're the government. They're going to seize it. They're going to do whatever. And if they're going to a different country like he did, you know what I mean? They're just going to kind of be forceful. They're not going to kill somebody for no reason. Okay, that's more Soviet behavior, like the anti-religious Soviet behavior, which we might talk about a little bit. But when Johann does this, I'm kind of questioning maybe there was some spiritual motivation there. And of course, it's a sin. He'll be judged in the eyes of God. But maybe he sees this church as a pious Christian man and thinks, what is this blasphemous imagery doing in this such holy of place, right?
Yeah, a Christian church leader is standing in the way of some pagan relic, saying, no, you can't take it, no. You really got to question yourself. Is this guy a heretic? Is this guy even... what do we do to heretics in the Bible? I mean, just look it up. Comment down below. What do we do? Maybe actually don't comment down below.
Well,
what do we do?
In the Bible, they do nothing because violence is not permitted in the Bible. But what, 2nd century church, 3rd century, yeah.
This is one of the last steps for Yanni, Red Skull, to enact his plan. And this guy's getting in the way. And if anything, Red Skull lives by the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated, right? He's willing to inject the serum into himself. He's willing to inject into other people. He's willing to, take people out, because I think he would want to be taken out if he was not advancing human society, if he was holding it back.
It's not even that. It's if he was a clergy member, which I'm sure, again, he has massive respect
yeah.
for members of the church. If he was in this position and he's like, well, by some stretch, like if Satan took hold of me and made me start worshiping these pagan things, I start worshiping the shiny pagan rock. Yeah, I think it'd probably be best if like the church authority came and put me down, you know?
I think an underrated aspect of this character, too, our client here, is that, listen, his drip is on point, okay? Say what you want about the guy, but the guy has drip. Also, great aura with mask or mask off, with the red skull or with the little face mask he has on. And also, his hideout, that's amazing. What an amazing architectural achievement to have some sort of mountain castle. Oh, like, this is awesome. Don't you kind of admire this guy?
No, it's completely badass. And, you know, these locations that we're talking about, these badass locations, this is where we can dispel quickly and easily the other accusations of crimes of his. It's true that there were some American soldiers that he killed and British soldiers, but he was just hanging out at his headquarters in his own country, and this is wartime, okay? So if you roll in here and invade as members of an enemy military, you're firing on them, of course they're going to fire back on you. That's not even a question. I'm not one to say, you know, oh, well, all is fair in war. But there are some things that are fair in open war when you are the ones invading. You know what I mean? I mean, it seems pretty obvious. Yeah. Another important thing I think we should remember is that Johann Schmidt founding Hydra and progressing it to such an extent is the only reason that Bucky Barnes did not die falling off of that train. I understand that them existing was the reason Bucky was on the train to begin with, but you can't really use that argument because then it's like, okay, well, you know, the Americans and the British did not have to send this kill squad to Hydra. It's like, okay, no.
Well, even bigger there, if Steve Rogers doesn't get frozen in ice because he's going to take down, Jan Boy's airplane going across the sea, he's not frozen. He's not brought back in time. He's not able to save the half the world's the galaxy's population from in Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh,
so,
dude, Your Honor,
you're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you trying to tell us that Johann Schmidt's crimes outweigh the benefits of saving half of the population, stated in the film, trillions of lives?
Yeah, if there is Operation Paperclip Draft, he is the #1 overall pick. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this and smash that like button.
Or not, we don't care.